mother looked to him like, you
Them-
in so much trouble.
Thank you, Tracy.
But
You,
black
Thank
you
you
folks
for
see it that
saying
way.
that, because
How do
that's
white how
exactly
do
what
white
it
women
felt
react
like.
to it? How do white men react to it?
It really
but I'm
felt
talking about
like
from
that
my
whole
perspective,
debate
she was
was.
looking at him like, oh, you green.
You're gonna get this right here.
Yeah,
It
you
felt
ain't.
like that whole, the teacher called your house and your mama waiting for you, and all you can do when you walk in that house is keep your head down and let her say what she gonna say, because you don't have anything to say back. Just
No, certainly.
put your
I
head
loved
down.
not her performance, because I think that is her. I loved the way she handled that debate. She knew every issue. You couldn't have thrown an issue at her that she wasn't ready for, right? And she knew Marco Rubio. So no, she was dope on that. But I'm just saying it's entertaining though how situational everything is, right? Because nuance is not rewarded in our current society or our political atmosphere. It's not rewarded. So it's just interesting.
All right, let me show this next video because we got about 10 minutes left. It's a little over 3 minutes long, but I didn't want to muddle what the message was, so I didn't want to cut anything out of it.
When they killed, the killers in this year's mass shootings in Buffalo and Uvalde, Texas, were both 18. All used legally purchased AR-style rifles. In the nationally televised CNN town hall 3 days after the Parkland massacre, you said, quote, "If you are 18 years of age, you should not be able to buy a rifle. I will support a law that takes that right away." Would you still support that federal law?
No, let me tell you why that law doesn't work and why that proposal doesn't work. We had a shooter last Thursday, tragic, in North Carolina. He was 15. Where did he get the gun? He didn't get it from a gun show. He certainly didn't buy it. He's 15 years of age. We've had shootings in the state. Pulse was a terrorist attack. A licensed security guard with a permit to carry firearms, extensive background check. The guy in Parkland, this killer, everybody knew who it was. Even before they announced who the person was, everybody in the community knew who it was, because this guy had long problems. He'd been acting up for a long time and everybody knew it. And here's what happened. The sheriff did nothing about it. The school district did nothing about it because they didn't want to arrest kids, and fell through the cracks. Even the FBI cracks it fell through. So that's why one of the first things I did when I got back to Washington is I sponsored a bipartisan red flag law, styled after Florida, not the crazy one they just passed, a real red flag law that would allow the police department to go before a judge and remove your guns if they can prove that you are a danger. The one they passed allows some coworker that doesn't like you to go to some liberal judge and take away your Second Amendment rights. So I think the solution to this problem is to identify these people that are acting this way and stop them before they act.
I want to stop you here, Senator, but before I go to Congresswoman Demings, I want to make sure that I understand that what you said in 2018 is not what you believe is the solution today.
I do
there
not
should not be a
believe
ban on 18 or 19 or 20-year-olds.
A 15-year-old just got a gun, got a shotgun.
But
and
that's
killed a
one
bunch of
case.
people.
I just want to make
no,
sure.
It's more than one case.
But
There one in Connecticut also involved the exact same
we could do this all night, but I want to make sure that you don't support that anymore. It is an important point.
Denying the right to buy it is not going to keep them from doing it. Here's the fundamental issue. The fundamental issue is, why are these kids, why are these people going out there and massacring people?
This is the same.
Because a lot of people own
same
AR-15s and they don't kill everyone.
I understand,
sir,
but I want to go to Congresswoman Demings for 60 seconds.
You know, people who are the families of victims of gun violence just heard that, and they're asking themselves, what in the hell did he just say? Senator, you used the Pulse nightclub shooting as your inspiration to run again for the Senate in 2016. Pulse is in my district. And yet, you've done nothing to help address gun violence and get dangerous weapons out of the hands of dangerous people. Florida, after Parkland, after you made promises that you had no intentions on keeping to the parents of Parkland, Florida passed legislation raising the age to have an assault weapon, passed red flag laws that we've seen 7,000 plus instances where they've been used now. Our primary responsibility is the safety of Floridians. And Senator, 24 years in elected office, and you have not yet risen to that occasion. And then when asked about it, you say something that makes no sense. Right. This is about taking dangerous guns out of the hands of dangerous people. And the overwhelming majority of people in our nation want us to do just that. How long will you watch people being gunned down in 1st grade, 4th grade, high school, college, church, synagogue, a grocery store, a movie theater, a mall, and a nightclub?
Congresswoman.
Yeah, wonderful theatrics. Her delivery, once again, solid. My problem with I wish one of these politicians, just more than one, but I wish more of these politicians, when a Republican pivots off of gun safety and goes to mental health, to actually ask them, please define what you mean by mental health and defend your record of voting against every mental health policy increase that has been proposed in the last 10 years. And what policies have you presented to address the mental health crisis? Those 3 things, right? But instead, what we get is the same old, like, song and dance thing. It's just so annoying.
And the deal is something he said, and I just caught this in this video. You want the red flag policy that you chose to have instead of the red flag policy that was passed, in which your next door neighbor can call on you to take your Second Amendment right. Dude, but you seem to be quite okay with Texas having the ability for their neighbor to call on the police, to call on to say, hey, I think my neighbor had an abortion. I need to be paid for it, by the way, because there's a
bounty.
Bounty on their head for it. You're fine with that.
Well, Marlon, you're missing it, sir.
Again, you have no problem whatsoever taking the rights of a woman to make a decision about their body, but boy, oh boy, do you have an issue with that Second Amendment.
You missing the forest for the whole tree. You missing the forest for the trees. They don't. People like Marco Rubio, Greg Abbott, Ron DeSantis, Ted Cruz, the whole gang of them, they could care less about what she said about gun safety, or although she didn't offer much of what she would do, which I had a problem with, but they don't care. It's how much money is the NRA going to give to them. Period. That's what this whole thing.
Will this
that's
disrupt
the point
my voter base?
That's the point I wish she would have raised, is how much money he's getting from the NRA.
But that part, they say sometimes they bring those up and it never seems to land because people don't seem to care, right? It's like, it's just so frustrating. But at the same time, Marlon, to what you were saying, once you accept their rationale, which is God gave you human rights, but the founders gave us the Second Amendment. So we can debate about what God meant, but the founders is sacrosanct, right? So if the founding fathers, as they call them, had given women any rights, we wouldn't be having this debate. But it's because they
right
didn't.
To read, to right to breathe.
Right? So they call it, we have certain unalienable rights. And we also say that all of our rights are not enumerated. But the fact that they are not enumerated, and because no one can define inalienable, they will. But the Second Amendment is already written down. And you see they've completely twisted it too. So
like it says something about when there's a militia present. I'm like,
well-regulated militia.
Yeah, well-regulated militia. Did y'all read that part? Or did they just skip
the
over?
part in the Constitution where it says that we need to revisit the Constitution every 7 years?
Well, I don't know what the frequency was, but the thing is, they also said that, the tree of freedom is watered by the blood of tyrants or some junk like that. But they believe that, but they believe that has to be done by revolution. So in their worldview, there wouldn't be all these amendments. They find all the amendments actually offensive. They want to go back to the original set.
Yep.
And we know what that means.
You know what? You know what? Trump was right about something. I can't even believe I'm saying Trump was right about something. Marco Rubio is little. He's little.
He's a little guy.
I'm just gonna call him Little Marco Rubio from now on. I'm never gonna call him anything else. I'm like, Trump was right. Look.
Yeah, but Marco is he's
Polo.
He's slimy. He's
Hey-o!
Hold on.
Thank you. I finally got one.
Yeah.